The government will this week reveal its plans to address budget blowouts from the National Disability Insurance Scheme's soaring participants and payments. But there are doubts over whether a deal can be struck with the states, who inevitably have to pick up the pieces if NDIS users are cut out of the system. Our political correspondent Olivia Casely has this report.
Jackson McConnell and his mother Rebecca hope a sweeping NDIS review will open the door to better outcomes for participants. They say the status quo isn't working and it's taking a personal toll.
I don't have a social group. I don't have Christmas parties to go to. My days are with Jackson because I don't have that support from the NDIS. I don't have support worker hours. I don't have enough support worker funding.
Rebecca says the NDIS has been like an oasis in the desert for families living with disability, with government services hard to access and not going far enough.
I was very nervous when I first switched from mainstream to here. There's a lot more support here, that's for sure.
As the Commonwealth moves to rein in ballooning spending, there's a bigger push for local, state and territory governments to provide more services outside the scheme. It's likely the review will highlight concerns around the NDIS's 14% annual cost growth and higher than expected support for children on the autism spectrum.
The NDIS was never meant to be all things to all people with a disability in Australia. It was aimed at helping people who are most profoundly or severely impacted by their disability so they could have a fulfilling life. So I suppose this was always the conversation which was inevitably going to have.
Rebecca says participants and their families are falling victim to price gouging by greedy providers.
They're getting money out of this. They are constantly changing their service fees. We've had to cut down on therapies. So Jackson's missing out, but the allied health professional is getting more money.
One of the things about the rollout of the scheme is that while some parts of it have been well developed, things about the regulation and the oversight, particularly of providers, have not actually been done.
Sky News can reveal that tougher regulations are at the centre of the government's plan to crack down on providers doing the wrong thing. It's also going to move to tackle the so-called wedding tax that sees participants paying more than the rest of the community for advice.
As soon as you hear the words NDIS, they increase the price. I think that's incredibly unethical behaviour, and I think sooner rather than later we'll have some regulatory tools to start clamping down on that profiteering at the expense of the disabled.
How soon?
Really soon.
A fight is brewing ahead of National Cabinet tomorrow, with the majority of Labor, state and territory leaders dragging their feet on chipping in more for disability supports. They're trying to horse trade their greater contribution for a bigger slice of the Commonwealth's multi-billion-dollar GST pie. The NDIS Minister is quick to downplay expectations of clinching an agreement.
What will it mean if a deal can't be brokered on Wednesday?
I'm a glass half full sort of guy. Fingers crossed that we'll get to a deal. The sun will come up the next day regardless, but we will keep, and I will keep working for people with disability, but let's see how we go. I'm more positive than negative.
Disability advocates want all levels of government to stop playing politics with disability support. They say the Commonwealth needs to spend more and the states need to deliver more.
For Wednesday's meeting, I really want people to stop treating people with disability like political footballs and trading us off for the GST.
The only lifeboat in the ocean, and I think that's right, and I think it's also kind of dangerous. You apply for NDIS, you get rejected. Well, what else is there for you out there at the moment?
Olivia Casely, Sky News, Canberra.